Hi, children. Today I'm going to read and narrate a story to you all. It is an interesting story. The story's title is Nip in the Bud, which means we have to stop it at the start. Long ago, in a village named Nivasa, there lived a man named Virat with his wife Shanti and a child. So there was a village named Nivasa and a man named Virat. This Virat had a wife. What was the wife's name? Shanti. And he had a child too. This Virat had a bad habit of robbing things. Is robbing a good habit, children? What do you mean by rob? Taking away things without a person's knowledge is called robbing. Some people in the village were also aware that he was a thief. It's a bad habit to steal things. He had always wanted to give up stealing, but his temptation to do so never spared him. What does it mean, children? He knew that he was doing something wrong and he also wanted to give it up. But his temptation means liking to do something. When you see ice cream, you're tempted to eat it. That is called temptation. He was tempted to rob. This gold jewel is looking very nice. It seems to be very costly. If I steal it and sell it outside, I'll be able to make some money. That feeling in your mind is called temptation. This Virat was always tempted to steal things. Whenever he saw costly things, he wanted to steal them. One day, Virat's father, Mr. Sundar, came to stay and enjoy with his son's family. Son's family, in the sense, it is Virat's family here. Virat, Shanti, and the child. So, if it is Virat's father, then who is he to Shanti? He is father in law to Shanti. Okay. On entering the house, Mr. Sundar heard Shanti questioning her husband, that is his son Virat, for looting people and bringing home money. It was also found that Virat was trying to give reasons to justify his mistake. What you'll say if you're questioned for something, immediately you'll try to manage. This is why I did that. That is why I did this. So that is called justifying, giving some reasons. You're trying to cover up your mistake and explain that what you did was right. Okay. So he was also trying to do the same to his wife. Oh, I did it right. Oh, this is the reason. That is the reason. All that he was saying. He was trying to suppress his wife, Shanti, so that she wouldn't question him further. He just wanted to give some reasons and stop her as she would not question him further and irritate him or nag him. On seeing her father in law, Shanti came to him saying, Uncle, please see what your son is doing. He keeps looting people to run the family and does not go to work. I feel ashamed when people comment on things we have at home, that they might have been stolen things and so on. I'm helpless, uncle. How will we run the family if he is caught by the police? Please advise him, she said. Oh my god. Father in law also felt ashamed of what his son was doing, by the way. And on hearing Shanti's regrets, what he did, he wanted to put a full stop to his son's bad habit. What Shanti said was also correct, isn't it, children? Her worry is reasonable. She is worried that police people might catch hold of her husband and how they would run the family if he doesn't go for work. That is also there. So let's see what Mr. Sundar did to correct Virat. Okay. Mr. Sundar looked at Virat and asked him why he was not trying to give up the bad habit, knowing that he was risking his life. Yes, it is risking life, correct? You're risking you if you're put in prison for having stolen something, what will happen? You will have to be in the jail. You cannot come out and live with your family. That is also a way of risking life. He replied to his father, who Virat. Virat replied to his father that he had tried his level best to give up the habit, means the most he had tried however much he could, okay, to give up the habit, but he could not control himself whenever he found costly things like jewels, costly ways, attractive gift items, all these whenever he saw, he was tempted to loot them. He was tempted to steal them. He tried to convince his father, who Virat. Virat tried to convince his father that he had at least become better than before and he was robbing things only occasionally. Means very rarely I loot things, daddy. I have literally stopped, but I'm not able to stop it completely. Abruptly, it is difficult to stop for me. So I'm doing it slowly. He was giving all such reasons to his father and trying to convince him. What Mr. Sundar did, let's see. Mr. Sundar decided to teach Virat a lesson. Correct. He asked him to uproot a blade of grass as a whole without affecting any of the nearby plants or grasses. A blade of grass means one strand of grass without affecting the nearby. You should not disturb the grasses or plants around it. You have to uproot that. Uproot means take it out from the soil. He asked his son to do that. Virat was easily able to do, since it is just one blade of grass. He was easily able to take it out of the soil. Next, he was asked to uproot a small plant pointed by his father as a whole without disturbing any of the other plants around. Again, father is laying the same condition. You should not disturb the other plants. You should be able to take out this plant, uproot the plant without disturbing the other weeds or plants. He did it with a little difficulty, it seems. Then he looked at his father and said, Father, please do not ask me to uproot the tree next. Mr. Sundar smiled at his son and said, Dear Virat, your assumption is perfect. He then pointed to a nearby tree and said to Virat, Please go and uproot the tree without causing any hindrance to the nearby plants or trees. Virat tried to convince his father that it would not be practically possible for him to do such a task single handedly. Is it possible to uproot a tree, children? No, very difficult. But Mr. Sundar asked his son to uproot a tree next. He asked him to first uproot a blade of grass, then a plant, then now he's asked to uproot a tree. Virat is asked to uproot a tree single handedly. Is it possible? No. Virat knew that it was not possible and he told his father, Daddy, I cannot do that. It is not possible. It's very difficult. A tree is huge in size and it is deep rooted. Its roots are grown very deep. You cannot do it single handedly, correct? You need some machines or you need so many people to cut it. You can only cut it, you can't uproot it. It is a very big tree. But he is an obedient son. Virat is an obedient son. Let's see what he did. But he was an obedient son to his father. Taking advantage of this, Mr. Sundar coaxed him politely to give a try for his sake. Whose sake? Father's sake. Son would do anything for his father's sake because he was obedient. He encouraged him, saying that he might be able to do it successfully. So Virat tried to uproot the tree pointed by his father. He went and tried shaking it, but he couldn't do. After trying for a while, he gave up and admitted his inability to uproot the tree. Means he told his father, No, father, I am not able to uproot it. I have met with the failure. Then Virat's father smiled and explained to him as to why habits die hard. Means once you cultivate a habit, it's very difficult to give it up as you get addicted to it slowly. While a person is less addicted to a bad habit, it would be easy for him to slowly stop it. But if he continues without wholeheartedly trying to give it up, means I will not give up anyway. I'll just try to stop, but you are not doing it with full mind. You should have the mind to give it up. You should wholeheartedly think, okay, we should not do it in future. You should say that to yourself and then do it. Just for namesake, you say, let me stop it. Then you cannot stop it. But if he continues without wholeheartedly trying to give it up, it will get deep rooted in the behavior of the same person, just like how the roots of a tree grow deep into the ground. The sooner we make efforts to stop an addiction, the easier it will be to give it up. Correct, children? Even if you are addicted to coffee, if you minimize and then slowly stop it, then you can be without it. But if you say, no, regularly I take it, I have to take, let me not avoid it. If you think that way, then you will not be able to be without it. Life is the same. It is the same concept in life also. If you are thinking that you are getting addicted to a bad habit, you should have the mind to stop it. Then only you can stop it. Okay. Virat realized his mistake of being steadfast on continuing with this habit of robbing. The fact was that he had not tried to stop it once for all. Once for all means abruptly, just like that, immediately. Okay. After taking the lesson from his father, he promised his wife to turn over a new leaf. Turn over a new leaf means support completely, change completely, and support her in the smooth running of the family from then on. Smooth running of the family means no disturbance, no financial disturbance, no emotional disturbance, no issues in the family, no fight, and so on. He got a job with a decent income with which he was able to keep up the promise which he gave his wife. Yes, what promise did he give his wife? I will help in the smooth running of the family. I'll go for work and I will earn for the family. He promised his wife saying this, and he was able to keep up the promise. What moral do we learn from this? The moment you realize that you are cultivating a bad habit, make efforts to stop it abruptly before you get completely addicted to it. It is better to nip them in the bud. So, I think you all have learnt a good moral today. Let's meet again with another story, children. Bye till then.